Hello there and welcome to the Bicycle Diaries. Sometimes things just don't go smooth, and they certainly haven't for me this week. I haven't been cycling quite as much this week as I would have liked, and that's been for several reasons. The first big reason was I've just been plagued by punctures. I've been out on my Cannondale, and it seems that every time I've ridden the bike I've ended up with a puncture of some sort. Now, punctures generally are a bit of an occupational hazard for cyclists, and if you've got the right stuff with you at the time, they're no great shakes. So if you've got things like tyre levers, pumps, a couple of spare tubes, maybe even a puncture repair kit, it's not going to be too long before you're fixed and off on your merry way again. But although that's kind of happened for me this week, it seems that literally every time I go out on the bike I've had a puncture, and it's starting to get a little bit frustrating. Now, I can't see any reason why it's happening. Every time I'm fixing the puncture I'm checking the tyre very carefully, and there's just absolutely nothing left in the tyre. So it's either something that I can't find in the tyre, or I'm just being super unlucky and getting punctures by things that I'm picking up actually on the road. The thing that's making it slightly complicated with the Cannondale is that I'm using some very deep set carbon wheels from Spin-On Knees. Now, the wheels themselves are absolutely fantastic, I really love them, but because they are so deep set I have to use some special inner tubes with very long valves, and they're rather expensive, so I can't afford to keep buying those. Instead, I'm just trying to patch them up as best I can with a puncture repair kit. I have to admit that I'm also a little bit surprised with these tyres. They're some Vittoria ones that I bought more or less about a year ago, and after a couple of times of taking them off the rim and putting them back on again, as you can see, the actual side of the tyres are starting to get a little bit frayed, and surely that should not be happening after only a year of use. From here on in, I've got a couple of options open to me. I can continue patching up the old tube, or I can go a bit mad and spend £25 on a brand spanking new one. I can also use something that I bought from my local Lidl's, which is basically some sealant, which is designed to go into inner tubes, making them puncture resistant, or I can go all out and go tubeless. Sunday's ride was a bit annoying because within 5 kilometres of my house I'd punctured, but yes, I managed to fix it by the side of the road. But instead of continuing on, I decided to go home because I was so close and just change bikes. So I went out on my trek and did the Southwark Loop. Now, I don't know what went on or what happened. Obviously I hadn't eaten enough and I ended up bonking, so I didn't particularly enjoy that ride. If you've never experienced it, the bonk is nowhere near as much fun as it sounds. You go all lightheaded, you lose energy, you go weak in the legs, and sometimes you even hallucinate. I once had the bonk so bad that I hallucinated that I saw Helen Mirren jumping out of a birthday cake, and it wasn't even my birthday. If you can feel the bonk coming on, then unfortunately it's a little bit too late to do anything. You should have had plenty to eat and plenty to drink before you got to that point. If you do feel it coming on, there's not a lot you can do. Immediately I would suggest that you have something to eat, have something to drink, have a bit of a rest, and if you're able to carry on and get yourself home, then try and do that. But if not, then unfortunately it might have to be a taxi ride or a train fare, or heavens forbid, a call to your other half to come and get you. And the third reason I haven't been out on the bike quite as much as I would have liked this week is rather embarrassing. It's because I've somehow managed to develop a bit of a saddle sore that's making riding for more than half an hour rather painful. Now, saddle sores are usually avoided by having a well-fitting saddle and a good quality pair of shorts with a good chamois. So I don't know how I've managed to develop this saddle sore, but nevertheless it's there. Now, if you do get a saddle sore, one of the things that you can do obviously is to use some antiseptic cream and just give it a few days to heal. So that's precisely what I'm going to do. Hopefully I'll be back on the bike in 4 or 5 days or so. The thing about punctures, bonking and saddle sores is that they are all part and parcel of cycling. But the good news is that they can be solved and they do go away, and you can be back on the bike enjoying your ride fairly soon. Thanks for watching.